Louisiana lawmakers are closer to passing a law that could reduce driving distractions. Kenya Ross joins us now with those details. Kenya?
Yes, Jennifer. Senator Patrick McMath authored a bill that would prohibit drivers from holding phones while driving. I looked into the impact of distracted driving in Louisiana.
The safest practice is to just wait until you're someplace safe before you make your phone call. But unfortunately, phone calls are the least of our concerns right now. People even FaceTiming while they're driving.
According to a cell phone usage analysis from Cambridge Mobile Telematics, Louisiana ranks third in the nation with the highest rate of distracted driving in the U.S., with Louisiana drivers on their cell phones 30% more than the American average. In a recent survey of drivers, the same company found that 19% admitted to using apps as a source of entertainment while driving. Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office officials say drivers should explore app management options before using your hands.
We ask that you have a holder on your dashboard where you put your phone up where at least your phone is eye level. There are apps out there that you can use voice activation, CarPlay if your car has CarPlay. Siri, you use everything. You can voice text.
Some people may not drive cars with the latest technology installed. The American Automobile Association says those drivers should consider other communication options outside of holding their phones.
There's options within your phone, maybe using Bluetooth. We're still allowing the bill that's being introduced still allows a hands-free communication. So you can use your Wi-Fi or your Bluetooth, some of the technologies, or even an earpiece. It's just going to be a training period, if you will, of learning how to communicate differently.
And if this hands-free bill passes, an analysis shows that it could prevent an estimated number of 69,000 crashes in Louisiana, saving the state $73 million in economic damages. Jennifer?